Travel bans may be in effect. Blizzards near an apocalypse may have arrived, but that's not the headline. The headline is, ladies and gentlemen, while he still may be YBW champion, but is that headline? Don't doubt Dominic? Yeah, I'm going to tell you about it. I'm also going to talk about what we just saw here at the end of the most recent YBW show. And boy, there's a lot to talk about in Snowfall Brawl 6, and it was quite a brawl. But could this man's career in the backyard circuit be coming to an end earlier than anticipated? We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about that 3 stages of hell. We'll also get into why did this man change the outcome of this match that we just saw at Snowfall Brawl. It was a draw, but he overturned the match to where Dominic got a victory. Boy, there is a lot to talk about here, and you know you have nowhere to go right now because, like I said, there's travel bans in effect, blizzards are near, the apocalypse is about to arrive, but the headline is this man once again. The last time we had him on here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, it was a celebration. It was a celebration, and we were looking almost past that guy Dominic with that razor instinct. But yet here we are in what was supposed to be the end of an era. Seems like we're going at it one more time, and could this be the end of this man's career here? And could this be his second to last appearance as a BYW superstar? We'll get into all of that, but it is now time to start this show off here in style on Sportzwire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all music and all wrestling matters. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, #1 cable sports show. He may be the most traveled wrestler in BYW history and the 8-time trailblazer, but he's most importantly the reigning, defending YBW World Heavyweight Champion, the headline. Dun, and Blaze! The 8-time trailblazer and the champ is here! My friend, how are we doing?
I'm alive, but not really living, Tom. Not really.
Well, I mean, we're going to talk about that. And, obviously you're referring to Snowfall Brawl 6. And those of us in the Northeast, we very well may be looking on our end of days. But we hope that you'll be able to make it to Thundershock. And we're going to get into it. And then I guess try to figure out where do we go from here. Because Aaron Blaze, the headline is, once again, don't doubt Dominic. And for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that you and YBW most certainly helped build, Sportswire Radio, what on earth did we just witness where you overturned what was supposed to have been a draw and the end of an era to where headline Dom wins?
Snowfall Brawl has always been labeled as the biggest event of the winter ever since the first showcase of it in 2019, and tonight was no different. Um, I went into this match believing that this was the last one, believing that I would cut out the Razor Instinct early because I knew that it was only a matter of time before Dominic would come back wanting a rematch and wanting this World Heavyweight Championship. So it's better now than later down the line. But then the match occurs, and Dominic got back on the trampoline or the platform or the ring, as some people like to say. He got back in while I was still laying on the ground, holding my knee in brutal, agonizing pain. The ref might have called it a draw, but I like to call a spade, Tom. And as much as I do not like Dominic, and it pains me to say this, I respect Dominic.
Wait,
For the simple fact, yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? I respect Dominic. For the simple fact, we've been doing this for 7 years, and he's been here for a while, and he took me to my absolute limit. Very few people have that capability in and outside of YBW, and I can look back and think that just maybe in another life and in another way, I would have done things in a similar fashion. But at the end of the day, he cut me off on the ground. I could barely get up. He got back on the trampoline just in time. I could have called it a draw and moved on, but I would be doing you, my fans, and this championship a disservice. I would be disgracing the entire sport, hobby, or profession of backyard, underground, and professional wrestling. Just letting it all end on a fluke. I take it like a man at the end of the day. And the facts are this: even though I wasn't pinned, it didn't tap out, I lost.
I'm shocked at what you have just said here the first few minutes. And we're going to show that match because I see a lot of people here, as usual, because a headline is that you're back in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. But you said you respect Dominic. You, after everything that we've seen on here for, I think, about a year and a half, this back and forth between you and Dominic, and even it must have pained you to have heard during the telecast. And I was there in the chat, by the way. I was there. I was watching the show. I'm always there. We always do this after every YBW show. And it was mentioned that Dominic is the longest tenured YBW heavyweight champion in the company's history. That long, storied history. A company's history with nearly 2,000 subscribers. All the great things. Your career. And that pains you. But we must freeze this, ladies and gentlemen, that after everything we've heard here for the past year and a half, you have said that you respect Dominic. Did you take Dom lightly?
No. I don't take any match lightly, Tom. I don't take Dominic seriously, and that's the thing. You can respect somebody, but that doesn't mean you have to like them. That doesn't mean you have to be friends with them. Hell, it doesn't even mean you have to get along with them if you so choose. But I cannot deny that, yes, he is the longest reigning champion in my company's history. And I say my company because make no mistake about it, I defined YBW. I have saved YBW. I am YBW. And yeah, he's the longest reigning champion, but my ultimate goal at this very moment is to still make it to the end of the year as the final YBW World Heavyweight Champion, because my goal is still to leave with this championship for that reason alone. I am YBW, and I'm going out a winner.
Well, you may want to go out a winner. You may want to go out as the YBW champion, but we now know that you very well, if you lose to Dom next month, if you go out on your back, you're not only going to be losing that YBW championship, but it's going to be an end of an era 9 months earlier. And the headline is going to be it's the end of an era for the Trailblazer, Aaron Blaze, not just in YBW, but in all of BYW.
That's right. And part of it could have been looked at as maybe I let my emotions get the best of me when I made that announcement. But I look back at the last time my life was put in absolute jeopardy. I look back to 5 years ago. Ironic, we're looking back to all that time again, but with a different guy who tried to take over my company, who tried to end my show, who hacked the channel, who changed the very paradigm and design of this championship belt. And it ended with 3 stages of hell. It all ended, and he was sent packing for well over a year. He was gone. So then it clicked in my mind that when I couldn't put Dominic down the standard way, I had to go a whole different way. I had to take a new path. I had to face the reality that just normal, regular means wasn't going to cut it with this extreme special scenario. I knew I needed 3 stages of hell. And this goes back to the respect thing a little bit, Tom, because yeah, I respect Dominic, but I do not like what's been happening. I do not like what he's been putting me through. I do not like what he has done to my channel, put my fans, my friends, hell, my family to a certain degree through. It has to end. It has to end one way or another. And if I can't do that, and if I can't fight for what I believe in, if I can't stand by everything I've spoken by for the past nearly a decade, for the past 8 years, maybe I should retire early.
Whoa, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, last month at this time, we were celebrating. Aaron Blaze was back on top. The run of Dom, it was an end. And this was supposed to have been here tonight. A continued celebration and an end of an era was to have finally happened between you and Dom. No more. It was never going to happen again. And when you made the announcement here last month where you and Dom, this was it. The final shot. This was Dom's last opportunity at your championship. And then on top of that, making the announcement that your career is coming to an end in YBW at the end of the year and in BYW. But yet, all of that is forgotten because Dom, the headline is Don't Doubt Dominic. Dominic wins. And now next month, you might be here. Not only may you be here, but you might be empty handed. And you might be, well, hearing a swan song toward the end of your career in BYW, and you might be joining so many others recently in BYW who've announced or their careers in BYW have come to an end. Who would have guessed? What a turn of events, ladies and gentlemen, not just in 30 days, but even, well, in a span of 2 hours. In a span of 2 hours, ladies and gentlemen, from the end of Snowfall Brawl 6 to where we are right now. It seems like forget about the apocalypse, forget about the travel bans, forget about the blizzards. It seems like the apocalypse has come to Sportzwire Radio and to the backyard wrestling circuit because Aaron Blaze's career could be coming to an end at this time next month.
It may be, Tom, that some people who don't like me might get their wish next month, that I might just be another footnote in BYW history. This means that if I lose next month, there is no burning brighter in DBW. There's no possible VTW invitations. There's no ROEW return. There's no more traveling anywhere. There's
I got
nothing.
EWA here, IMF here, all these companies, right? Well, if this is what we've talked about tonight, I mean, you can have it your way, but none of that's going to happen.
It might not. It might not, for the simple fact that another thing hit me during that match. It's with this knee, and with everything that Dom put me through, and it's another reason I've considered retirement. I think it's possible he might have re-injured it throughout that entire thing. However, Tom, I've learned a lot about myself, and I go back to my early days in life, and I remember when I was always forced by my grandfather and my mother, if you will, to play baseball. I always hated it. I was never really good at it at a young age, but if there's one thing I've picked up that I will carry with me heading into Thundershock, it's that if I'm going to go out with a full count, I'm going out swinging. I'm going out swinging at full force. I'm giving it everything I have, even though I don't have much left to give. A lot has hit my life on a personal level, and even more so on a physical level. But I am still going to show that on Sunday, March 29th, Dominic still is not on my level.
And we're going to show that match here in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. What I do want people to do out there, if you're here for the first time or haven't been here in a while, or you've been here and you haven't yet, go hit the sub button for me for YBW. YBW certainly got a lot here at stake. And listen, Snowfall Brawl 6 just happened, but it seems like that road to Thundershock is already happening. And we also know tomorrow night, Aaron Blaze is in action. He is in action. And he's alongside his best friend, Magnum Carter, the MC of the 1-2-3. And we'll see if these guys can drop some bars, because Reality and Golden Guns are going to be in the ring against each other. So if you thought what you just saw from Dom and Aaron Blaze was one thing tonight, tomorrow night, these guys are going to do it again. And we know they're going to see each other in the ring one more time at Thundershock 4 weeks from today, ladies and gentlemen. And think about this. This was supposed to be a milestone year for Aaron Blaze. For those that don't know, this past week, he celebrated his 21st birthday. 21. What a milestone, ladies and gentlemen. This was supposed to be a celebration week. This was supposed to be a birthday like no other. We would have had celebrations, certificates. We would have had people coming on here. Oh, Aaron Blaze, happy birthday. Can't wait to see you out there and go and find 21 more places. There'd be people from other places you haven't wrestled in when I came on this stream. You know, maybe places like you didn't bring up, like BCW, or, you know, other people I see from other places here in the chat. You brought up ROEW, maybe a guy here that brought you up, and maybe you'd be his final opponent, and none of that even matters. None of it, because Dom beat you. And now, not only does Dom get another crack at that championship, it was supposed to be an end of an era, Dom could not only beat you in 3 stages of hell, but also retire you as an in-ring competitor. Boy, ladies and gentlemen, we are scratching the surface here, and we've only just getting started here. That's why you got to do me a favor. Hit the sub button for YBW. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook, TikTok. We're going to show that match here and show what everyone is talking about right now with Snowfall Brawl 6. The apocalypse has arrived, and we must show that footage. So let's do that here, because there are people out there that want to know what happened. So we're going to put that footage up here now. We're going to get you ready, and here we go. So I've got it zinced up right to the point of where you guys are there face-to-face. And just talk to me, champ, about what's going through your mind here, and what we're about to witness between you and the longest reigning YBW champion in history with that Razor Instinct, Dominic.
My first thought is I can't wait to smack him across the mouth. That's my first thought. Um, I appreciate the ref doing all the introductions. I appreciate mostly the 95% phenomenal referee work. But as you can see, I'm hype. I'm getting ready. I'm showing the world, I'm showing to Dom that this championship is mine. And I was planning on it staying mine, and it did, but just not in the way I wanted. And I kept on reminiscing about all the other times I've fought in February, losing this championship twice in back-to-back years, beating Dom at the last Snowfall Brawl event we did, him beating me and Magnum Carter last year to retain the world championship. Just a lot of memories came flooding back. I expected to replay other moments in my mind when me and him relayed our first match and a couple of other moments we've shared, but all I could think about was the most recent stuff.
I mean, just a lot to process. This was a match that was certainly eagerly anticipated. We talked about it last month. Heck, we talked about it at the end of last year when you and him were going to square off and you wanted your YBW championship back. We had talked about 4.5 years you had waited to reclaim that championship. And Dominic obviously having one of the longest runs of any champion in BYW and underground wrestling in this generation, not just being the guy that's held the YBW championship longer than anybody in the company's history, but his run again in terms of what he did in this generation in length. But, I said it in the chat. I thought that this was a smart move by Dom in a way, even though he's not getting in there. Maybe it's a cowardly instinct, but this is a veteran move. This is a guy that's shown that he doesn't have to talk here on Sportswire, doesn't have to fire back and forth. He's biding his time, and he's playing mind games. This is a veteran move from a guy, again, as I stated, with a resume. Whether you like it or not, anybody may not like it whatsoever, but he is the guy that has that longest YBW championship run in history, and he's playing games with you. But here we go.
Yep, and then we started playing a whole different game. It's called Punch to the Face. And this is something I've been waiting for ever since he snuck up on me last month, thinking it was a good idea that he was just going to get away from it sky-free. But nope, as you can see, I lift him up, chop the hell out of him, and I'm on it. I'm not wasting any time. I'm done with the mind games. I wanted to wrestle, and if I wasn't going to get a wrestling match, I wanted to fight. And I said that's exactly what it was going to be, a fight.
You did. You did say that here last month. We talked a lot about this, and this is the third time you guys are squaring off of late, second in a span of a few months. And obviously that shows both for both you guys and what you need to do. And after a bumpy start, you have got Dom right where you want him, and that's why Dom is let's just say screaming uncle there at the moment. But luckily, he was able to get from the outside. That's what he does. He has done this throughout his run as champion. I saw Magnum Carter was in the chat. There were others. I think Jason was in the chat. Ryan was in the chat. Ryan Jackson, Jason Parker of HCW, and Dom. You can say what you want. He doesn't fight fair. He doesn't want to go one-on-one in that ring, but this is where he wants to be. This is where he held on for as long as he did. But right now, you are giving him a bit of his own medicine.
Absolutely, and it is beyond deserved. And I just couldn't wait until I hit him with something big. It didn't matter what it was. I just wanted to either stomp on his head or knee him in the head, kick him in the mouth. I just wanted his head to pop off. Just clean off.
Yeah, I could see that. I could totally see that. But there's something I'm noticing, and I noticed it when I was watching the match. And I want to ask you this: I've known you a while. You've been on here countless times. I got that. We even talked about what happened between you and Magnum Carter and how that went and the way it turned out and what you did there in order to get your shot at Dominic. But there's a different demeanor. We can see it in your mannerisms. We can see it in your face in just what this match was and how personal it has become between you and Dom. Did you feel a different demeanor and a different maybe take you went into this match? Because I don't know. I see and I saw then something different with your mannerisms. Talk to me about that and what we're seeing.
I think back then, um, I wrestled like I had everything to gain because at that point, coming back from my injury, I really had nothing. No championships, not that many wins. So I went the extra mile in many different formats to show that I still have something to prove, not just to certain people, but especially myself. But I think recently now, looking back at the match I had with Monstruck and this being my second match of the year, um, I don't want to say that I care less because if I cared less, I wouldn't be doing it. But that same fire isn't there. And I feel like it should be, but I don't
Why?
know
So why don't you have that same fire after
why.
everything you said a few months ago on here in the lead up to get your championship back? And why you say something like that?
Maybe it's exhaust. Maybe it's exhaust. Maybe it's because I have some personal stuff going on. I don't know, but I don't wrestle like I am going to lose everything. But even though right now this is everything. See, I remember the last time I showed up here, and I remember telling you and telling everyone watching live, I don't even remember how I beat Monstruck.
Yes, you
I
did
still
say
look
that.
back at that match and I don't remember a thing outside of raising the championship and being attacked by Dominic. And in this match, I didn't take him lightly, but I didn't treat it like it was life threatening. But now it is heading into Thundershock because it's more than just this belt, this prop, this meaningless anomaly, if you will. Now it's my very legacy that's intact next month. And Dom can throw whatever he can at me at Thundershock. But just like I did right there, I'm going to answer back and hit him twice as hard.
But he kept finding ways. He kept finding ways. You were certainly hitting him, and we just see that demeanor and that approach that you had. And and you talk about the fire. And maybe it's because you've went through so much. I had brought up a few minutes ago that you've been coming on here, and I've known you for almost 3 years. It's almost 2 years ago to the day that you came on here for the first time, and since then you've come on here, and you're one of those guys that has been a defining person of a generation, a defining person of this generation in the backyard of the underground wrestling circuit. You think about this platform and all the names, all the heavy hitters that have come on here. You've been one of those guys that has been a father in terms of getting those guys on it because of what you've done, the amount of people you've gotten here, but also maybe you're feeling the way you felt because you've been to so many places. You've been through so many things, and you fought in this company, your own company, to get back that YBW championship, a championship that for 4.5 years you were empty-handed from, and you couldn't find ways to get. And getting that championship took so much out of you. We know the injury last year. Remember, you missed 3 months, 3+ months. And even then, you were denied of opportunities to go to and wrestle. And maybe just all of it's catching up. They always say, Father Time waits for no one.
Absolutely. And it sucks and it's crazy considering how young I am. Like you said, I just turned 21 not too long ago, and here I am talking like I'm 40. Um, but it's just when you've done this as long as I have, and you've gone through a lot of betrayal, a lot of shortcomings, a lot of false promises, it it weighs on you to an extent. And I'd like to say it doesn't affect me, but it does. Um, but I'm doing everything I can. I know enough that I don't want to quit because I'm a lot of things, but a quitter isn't one of them. I don't quit. I don't easily give. I will bend and bend a little bit here and there, but I don't break. And
You
Dom did
can't
everything
quit.
he could to break me, but he couldn't.
You can't quit. You're the headline Aaron Blaze. You're the 8-time Trailblazer. You, in terms of miles, have traveled more than any backyard wrestler. And maybe not in this generation even, but maybe in history. Maybe in history. You were right up there with some of those guys in terms of the miles you've traveled, the places. I mean, we've talked about just, again, Oregon, Tennessee, Maryland, Indiana, I mean, Michigan, all these places that you've been to. And maybe it's catching up to you. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I mean, you got to figure this out. But right now, Dominic, I mean, you've thrown everything at this guy, and he's been laughed at. He's been remarked, and with this comment and that comment, he doesn't have to be here. He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't wear the shirt. He doesn't promote the company. The company
Yeah.
loses views. The company loses subs. But yet here he is. He's going toe to toe with you, and he's giving you a fight.
Add it to the list, Tom, because that only gets certain people so far, and 9 times out of 10, most people that have brought me to a big fight or have beaten me, a lot of them aren't doing jack shit now, and Dominic is just one of those people who will be a passing phase. Because that's what I'm going to make him. A passing phase, a footnote, a forgotten memory. Even though we'll be reminded by 900 people that he was champion, the longest reigning, this, that, and blah, 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 blah. You can be the longest reigning all you want. Doesn't make you the greatest reigning champion.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say it. I don't want to put words in your mouth, and you say
Again, he
that
can be
obviously.
ordinary, I'll be legendary.
I see, because though that answers my question somewhat, because I'm not going to ask you that question, but you certainly talked about his run, and obviously, yes, we get reminded of it, and when people talk, that always comes up because the facts are facts, and that's undeniable in YBW's history, and Dominic is at the top. I don't know if Dominic's the greatest or the worst champion in history of any sorts, but his run is, again, it's a year and a
He
half. It was
was at
almost
the
a year
top.
and a half. He was on top.
He
Yeah,
was.
he was
That's
there.
the key. That's the key thing. He was at the top, and it's like I've been saying for weeks heading into this that it doesn't matter at the end of the day what he does in parts and in little pieces. I still bring more to the table in his whole entire body, in his whole entire move set for the moves that he does, and then the moves he likes to rip off. He can be like everyone else, Tom, but there's only one Aaron Blaze. There's only one Trailblazing Traveler. There's only one headline, and there's only one YBW World Heavyweight Champion. And there's a reason that it's not him. And I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it isn't him again, because let's not forget that this is still a two-way street. We keep talking about what happens when I lose and I leave. But what if I beat him and I stay? What's Dom's next move? Because it
I,
won't be the challenge for this World
I was
Heavyweight
gonna say,
Championship.
well, you know what? That okay, touche. Because the other stipulation is that this is it for Dom. If Dom comes up short at Thundershock, well, guess what? The headline is that, well, it'll certainly be a shock to the system because that Razor Instinct, well, it'll be cut down in size, and that Razor won't be able to cut through the stipulation of that. This will be it. Finito. No mas. No more title shots for Dom in YBW, and that's it. That's the end of an era for Dom, and he's done in terms of ever holding a shot or even a sniff at that YBW championship should he lose to you in 28 days at Thundershock.
Absolutely, and that's what's going to be the greatest thing about this whole entire thing. Dominic so badly wants to tether himself to this World Heavyweight Championship. He wants the belt, but he can't carry the burden. And it showed with the very few times he was here. It shows with the very few times we hear from him. It shows from the very few actually half decent matches that he has. Because Dom, he might be into this business, but he wasn't born for this business. He's only in this business because Blaze brought him into it. And now I'm going to burn him out of it. Maybe not the business entirely, but my business with this.
Well, you brought him in, but you could easily take him right out. And that's what you're going to attempt to do here coming up in 28 days at Thundershock, where we will see Aaron Blaze defend that YBW championship, but also tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to see the Golden Guns take on Reality, and we're going to see these two men after what we've just seen tonight. I am just so curious at what happens between these two tomorrow night. I'll be there in the chat. I hope you join me. We're going to hit that YBW sub for us. If you haven't yet, YBW 2018 on YouTube. Follow YBW on Instagram. We are watching basically near the end of this match between Dominic and Aaron Blaze, what was supposed to have been the final match between these two for that YBW championship. But, well, spoiler alert, you're about to see what happens here. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Like, share, and subscribe to YBW. Follow us. We'll say hello to some people here in the chat. I don't want to speak with you. We'll get to them shortly. But you got to watch what happens here if you haven't yet, because, well, that's why we're talking about Dominic again. You were so dominant against Monstruck. You didn't even remember how you beat him. You didn't even remember the match. But in this match, you're going to be reminded about that. You're going to be reminded about it even more tomorrow night. And I got to ask you about that then, about tomorrow night. You and Magnum Carter are going to be teaming again. I know everything's A-okay with you guys. We know the history. And seeing what has happened here tonight, what's your mindset going into tomorrow?
Locked and loaded. Simple, straight to the point. The Golden Guns are locked and loaded. Because for a while, Carter and we've wanted to permanently end Reality, and this might be the closest we're going to get at this rate. It's a step in the right direction, Tom, and it's going to set the course for 3 stages of hell, because the winning team, well, at least between me and Dominic, one of us is going to get their way. Because when we win, when the Golden Guns beat Reality, again, just like we did at Blood, Sweat, and Tears, I get to pick not 1, but 2 stages for 3 stages of hell. However, the inverse being, if Dominic and Phoenix win, Dominic gets to pick not 1, but 2 stages for 3 stages of hell. And that's the little what do you call it? The little caveat.
That's the wild card in all of this, because we've seen what you guys have put each other through, but now there's another stipulation to tomorrow night, is that whoever wins gets to pick 2 out of those 3 stages of hell. So that's a huge advantage going into this. I mean, could you imagine, and I know you don't want to hear this, but we've been talking about this through the entire meeting. You imagine if Reality beats you and Magnum Carter tomorrow night? We're going to hear all about that on social media. How Dominic, once again, don't doubt Dominic. Dominic continues to find ways, and he gets the upper hand. He's got control. 2 out of 3, he gets to pick. But if you win, everything you've said, it's all going to plan. This was just a bump in the road. It was just an unfortunate glitch. And it's all basically going to where you want this to be. But if Dom finds a way tomorrow to win, we won't hear the end of it. We will not hear the end of this. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And obviously, you're getting ready to put this match away, and it seems to be going to plan. But we're about to see why that's not the case. And Dom,
I should have aimed higher.
Well,
I'm in the midsection.
And how about that reversal? By the way, people could say what they want about Dom, but that was supposed to have been game, set, point. But Dom finds a way. That's what he does.
Bounced right off the trampoline. I don't know why I didn't just put him on the.
You didn't do it, and Dom finds a way. Oh wait, it's a draw. It's a draw. This is a draw. It's a draw. It's a draw. But wait a minute. Aaron Blaze seems to be. We got to put the footage up here for the commentary because this is just shocking.
But not in time. Because he doesn't win the title. Ladies and gentlemen.
No, you cannot win a title on a count-out or disqualification.
But just wait till what happens here.
I think Dom might have been a little bit too late.
And still.
So therefore, Blaze is still the world heavyweight champion. I don't know how close Dom was, if he did or didn't make it.
But wait a minute.
The reign of the 8-time Trailblazer continues, and that's how their last match ends.
Wow.
Blaze retains the world title, and Dom obviously upset. Blaze exhausted. And wait a minute, McDonough. The show's not over yet. What's going on?
Here we go.
He's shaking his head.
The ref called it wrong. I didn't win. You did. You won by count.
Wow!
You won.
I've never seen that before.
So the Thundershock, we end this one way or the fucking other.
Beep.
There's only one way this is gonna end between you and I. The Thundershock, I don't want there to be any more excuses. I'm tired of jumping through all these hoops. I'm tired of all these challenges. You going after my knee like a goddamn prick. No, what is gonna happen is this. You know a guy, and I know who to call. So tomorrow night we're gonna have a tag match of high proportions. You and me on Carnage. Reality Golden Guns 2. You and me need to settle this in 3 stages of hell. I got one stipulation, you got the other. Winner picks the last one. And when you lose, and trust me, you will, you can never challenge for this championship. As long as I hold it, you can never challenge for it again. But if I lose at Thundershock, I'll retire early. All or nothing now. We're ending this one way or another. It's a fucking yes or no.
Beep.
I'm not shaking your crusty ass hand. There's probably spit on it from earlier in the match.
You did say you
It's a yes
respect
or
it. This
no.
is where we're at, ladies. Obviously, we get the point.
I'm not fucking
We
saying to
we
you.
got the point. And you know, Aaron Blaze, this is just, I know a lot tonight we've gotten into a lot, and I will get through. I'll skim through some comments here because I want to give you something, and I have something for you. I have something else that's out there. I do want to get to the chat. First of all, Copper Dragon wants to say, your body of work tells me that you don't break. Stay the course, headline. Continue to go hard or go home. Well, it's where go home pretty much. Enrich that legacy, Aaron. He'll be watching. So we'll be here right afterwards. Johnny Velocity, quick strike Johnny Velocity. Wanted to say hello. He's a man that, listen, you better win in a month from now because you're one of the guys that he may want to face before his own career ends in, well, less than 6 months from now. So you're going to have to win. I want to say hello to the one and only Doc Holliday, the legendary Doc Holliday. hello from our friends in Puerto Rico. We all wish we were in Puerto Rico right now, and not just for Bad Bunny, but really for the warm weather. But and you are the greatest rating champion. Well, you're gonna have to continue that run. I want to say hello to my buddy Rick Del Santo, the Pro Wrestling Wire. If you're out there, do me a favor, hit the sub button for Rick. If you are here, Rick, thank you as always, my friend. Please follow YBW on Instagram. Aaron is going to kick his butt. Well, we have to see. Happy belated birthday. Listen, this should have been a birthday celebration of epic proportions, and yet it's not. It's not. And
to be fair, I did have like a really shitty birthday. IRL, so it's like
talking about Dom is not helping. I'm sure talking about Dom is not helping. Thank you to Camel Cam. I know we'll be talking a lot Thursday about the IMF with their return, King of Cedar Rapids. See, Aaron Blaze can't retire until I get to meet this man face to face. Zilla's here as always. Thank you, Zilla. Also, we have somebody here earlier on. Austin James is out there. Not going to lie, that YBW championship looks pretty good. We look good around the Prince. And hope that you don't lose. Rooting for you. And it was a great show. Absolutely. Yes, I was there in the chat. Please hit the sub button for YBW. Also, hello to Ox McCoy. Johnny is trying to heal because we saw what happened to him at the I Am the Champion 19. Your tag team partner tomorrow at Monday Night Carnage 158. Magnum Carter, who was successful in his own right. And this one guy, speaking of travelers, I hope that you don't join this man, because even though his career is not over, he did say, not breaking during the intro, was actually wild, but that was a while ago. But I hope that we get to give you many more intros. And yeah, it's good to see the legendary Jack Delta, but we hope that, you're not going to have to join him on the sidelines. And Chase Wakefield, obviously, the leader of the free world, the VTW YouTube champions in the house, Hubie Jenkins, speaking of Johnny and the EWA, is here. Michael Christian, Stacks and Suplexes from the state of Indiana. I think you know Michael a little bit. Yes, hello to management. Also, we might be running on late. We are late, but we're here. Andrew Lovelace, who, by the way, you were here for that Friday. Oh, my goodness. And he's going to be here in less than 2 weeks.
Insane.
We had 27 people in the chat live. I mean,
that's more than most shows get for live.
A long time. I mean, in a live setting for that many people. I mean, and they brought it. They brought it. I mean, they're going to be back here Friday, March 6th. So you're going to MVP Monsters Division Champions in Charlotte, Pennsylvania. So not too far away. Trevor's not too happy, and that's a point a lot of people feel right now. Also, yes, hello. Aaron Blaze will be champion all year long, and watching that match again, it broke my heart. I'm watching the match again, and it broke my heart. I'm sorry that it broke your heart. I know a lot of people felt that same way. I do want to share my screen before I get to something else, because I do want to do it, even though it's not quite the day that you've been having. But nevertheless, here on this day is YBW Day. So I know it's not the day that you hoped for, but nevertheless, it is YBW Day on all Sportswire radio platforms. And I do want to give myself a little plug before we go back to YBW, because tomorrow I'm here not once but twice, and I'm here actually with a couple of big bands, and one of them is pretty well known in France, believe it or not, and that was kind of a funny one I was able to land. And I want to shout out my buddy from Super Cool Radio, Mr. Matthew Thomas, and we have on the band. If you like chicks, you're going to definitely like an attractive female, because we'll have on this young lady. She's the lead singer of the band The Darts. They are about to go play in France, where they've been in Rolling Stone and a few other places. So that'll be at 3:30. So, before Monday Night Carnage, you hang out with me at 3:30, and then right afterwards I'll have on the band Bad Marriage. So hopefully we won't have too much of a bad marriage. So check that out. But, I know it's been quite the evening, but if you had to say anything else to Dominic out there, what would it be?
There's a lot I could say to him, but I know I would just be talking to the paint on the wall, waiting for it to dry. I don't think, unless he just magically popped in here like he's Joe Hendry, it would really hit him. So it's kind of pointless. I mean, Dom never shows up on Sportswire.
Oh, okay. So obviously you think that it'd be like talking to a wall. Nobody would be listening. You'd be talking to yourself.
Yeah, we lose half the live chat that's in here. So,
Well, I mean, look, that could very well be a possibility. And obviously, I know you two are going to see each other across that apron tomorrow night, Monday Night Carnage, 158. And we know what's on the line. The winner gets to choose 2 out of the 3 stages. And also, we know what's on the line 4 weeks from now, a Thundershock. You win, Dom never gets a shot at a YBW championship again. If you lose, your career, not just in YBW, is over, and you also lose that championship. But I have received word that there's somebody here that wants to talk with you and maybe give you a pep talk, maybe, encourage you after, definitely a tough night and talk to you about what we just saw. So I'm going to share my screen, and especially for those that are listening and watching here in prime time on the brightest lights, the biggest stage. Wait a minute! It's Dominic! It's Dominic! He's here! That's right! Dominic's back on Sportswire for the first time in 3 months!
a pep talk, you say, Tom. A pep talk, you say.
They gave a pep talk. Dom, that's what we thought! And Dom is back! But that Razor instinct!
Welcome back, bitch.
Hey man, just okay. I'm gonna say plain. I hate to say this, but I was listening in. I did try to show you some respect. I did, but I guess you didn't want to take it. Me and you both, like you mentioned, 7 years. Me and you've been going at this. I mean, at the end of the day, I did win, but you're still the champion. But you say as well, you want to leave with the championship. Now, if you say you're really fighting for the fans, why would you leave with the championship? Like, it's pretty much ripping the only championship that matters from a company like YBW. Because we can't go without a world champion, let alone the world championship. Like, yes, there's the Breakouts Championship, which congratulations to Kid Phoenix, by the way.
Absolutely.
And then there's also the Hardcore Championship, which his Golden Guns tag team partner has, which you say you guys are on good terms. But from what it's looking like, you guys still are not on good terms. And I don't even know why you're calling Magnum Carter for the match tomorrow. Because I know that there's going to be some shenanigans going on between you and him. Because you say you guys are good, but if Magnum Carter was there, I think he would probably say something different.
And listen, and that's an interesting point, Don, because Aaron Blaze nearly killed Magnum Carter a few months ago to get a shot at you.
Also, Magnum Carter also ripped the Golden Gun shirt. I mean, that should say something
And
there
he talked
too.
about on here that he had no communication at one time with Aaron Blaze. It wasn't the friendship that we thought it was. That's an interesting point that you made going into tomorrow night.
I mean, Blaze, you say you're going to cut off reality. You're going to stop us again. This time, me and Phoenix are better than ever. I don't care if I'm world champion or if Phoenix is Breakouts champion. Me and Phoenix are better than ever. We dropped Oliver those months ago. And yes, you taught me a lesson tonight. And I do have some respect for you, even though I hate saying that. I do. I have respect for you as an owner. But in the ring, it's still building. But I don't think anything. I know reality's going to beat Golden Guns. And I know either you're going to turn on Magnum Carter or Magnum Carter is going to be like, nah, we lost against reality. And then he's going to lay you out. Because, hell, when's the last time Magnum Carter's been on Sportswire? And plus, when's the last time we seen you two interact on YBW? Yes, me and Phoenix beat your ass. And we mentioned, where's Magnum Carter? Where's the call whenever you need him?
Well, you know what? He's
He
here
did not
right
show
now in
up
the
for
chat,
you.
and he says he wants to drop some bars.
Magnum Carter wants to cook.
He wants to cook.
Okay. Let him cook.
I
Let me hear
can't
some
drop
bars,
bars.
Magnum Carter.
Oh, he wants to drop them, and apparently I'm gonna let him drop some bars here because I am going to admit it. I just let him get that link. So we didn't have that in the cards, but guess what? You say Magnum Carter, where is he? Well, he is the MC of the 1, 2, 3, and he's gonna drop some bars in a minute or two, and here he is, just going right for the jugular. Oh my God! And he's smoking a cigarette like the Marlboro Man. It's the hardcore champion, the MC of the 1, 2, 3, Magnum Carter.
Now, since I am now here, and Dom, apparently he doesn't have anything to say anymore now that I've actually come face to face with him. And if even I were to come face to face with him, he still wouldn't talk his big shit. Because all he is behind that fucking goatee of his is nothing but a giant pile of shit. Who can apparently barely even wrestle, let alone put up his own wrestling boots. Dude, I have seen broomsticks wrestle harder than you. I have seen children do better than my 2-year-old who can barely talk can do a promo better than you can. Goo goo gaga, motherfucker.
Is this all you got?
No, I'm about to burn it even more.
Oh!
Kind of like how you do at your work. I've been not even going to talk about that. But no, Dom, you want to sit here? You want to run your little mouth here? You want to run your little mouth there? You didn't think I'd show up tonight. Guess what? I'm here. You're queer. Get over it.
Well, the temperature is definitely rising here. It's rising.
Well, it's still about lukewarm because I'm still having to look at that little future ass little wannabe.
You're gonna see him tomorrow night.
It may have gotten hotter because Magnum Carter got a little hotter in here, if you know what I'm talking about, and drifting. But Dom, if you want to try to finally show some sportsmanship in your life, don't do it after the worst defeat you've possibly ever had. And I mean that as in you were talking your trash and then you lost the biggest prize of them all. Hell, I remember a few months ago you were complaining at this and complaining at that. Well, you held the most prestigious title that we have. And now look at you. Now even the mid-carder has something to show off. Hell, even the Raimundo Velasquez storyline is getting a lot better than you are. And no one cares about that storyline either. One of them got hurt. That's why that match wasn't there tonight. They're doing fine. They're doing all right. But the Mr. Break of Dawn, who finally got a win, El Spectra, who finally got a win, they might have only had one win each in their entire career. But at least they have a career to win.
Okay.
Not showing
So
up.
you're speaking. No, shut up now. You're speaking of a career, which you have only held the Breakouts Championship and the Hardcore Championship. I have a more career than you have ever had in YBW. Yes, maybe you're the fastest growing star, but I've held Tag Team Gold, World Title Gold, Breakouts Gold, Hardcore Gold. Yet, let alone, I've held Turmoil Gold in KTW. I've held Retro Gold in KTW. I have more of a record than you have. And
I got cookies in the freezer if you want me to cook them for you. You want a cookie?
I don't
Good
need
boy.
cookies from you. How about you go eat them your damn self? Anyways.
Yeah, at least I can put on something. Do you have your shirt on, Dom? No.
Shut up. Yeah, my shirt's right here.
Oh, he's got it! He's got it!
Oh,
No,
it's about fucking time. It's about time for once.
But you want to say that you have something. But no, you're holding the Hardcore Championship, which we all know you want the World Heavyweight Championship. And
Eventually, but it's not my time.
the one person that's in your way is Aaron Blaze. And I know for a damn fact both either you or Aaron Blaze will do anything means necessary. Hell, I've seen Aaron Blaze do it before. And hell, you might do it as well. Like, you've been off your game lately, meaning you're trying to snoop down to my levels, or even the fact of ATK's levels or Aaron Blaze's levels whenever the United Front was a thing. And you say you want to fight against reality, which, quite frankly, it looks like both of you are trying to be reality, being the ones taking our low tactics. And to be fair, people say, oh, I'm a scumbag for attacking Aaron Blaze's knee, which it's a smart play. He let it be known, and I took advantage.
You know, those are interesting points. And you know, I made that point, Dom, that during your match, which I know you were probably aware of, is that you did use those tactics. And we saw at the end of the match between you and Aaron Blaze was hobbling there. He was definitely not at 100%, and you got to feel good going into tomorrow night, because not only did you get a victory that Aaron Blaze gave you, but we know last year about the injury, and he wasn't at 100%, and he talked about that once again here tonight. So you got to be feeling great going into tomorrow because you got a victory, but you also got now Aaron Blaze, who the headline is he's not at 100%.
Yeah, Aaron Blaze is not 100%, and I know this. Me and Phoenix can take advantage of it. But I want to recall to one spot in the match. The little stomp on the trampoline frame.
Yes.
If you guys actually seen, I actually hesitated to do it because, to be fair, me and Aaron Blaze have been back and forth for 7 years. Whatever. People are getting tired of it. I have
Just say
seen
you love
it
him
in
already.
I've seen it in the comments. They're like, "Oh, here we go, another Dominic versus Aaron Blaze." Which, yes, if it was me a year ago, I definitely would have not hesitated. But to be fair, I actually did hesitate there. Like,
there it is.
There
it is.
I was holding on.
Why?
But why?
It's the whole respect thing, because this was like pretty much halfway through the match, and I knew that it was going to be a fight. I knew Aaron Blaze wasn't going to go down lightly. But to be fair, I was like, do I really need to retire the owner and the world champion this early? I mean, maybe I could have still taken the world championship, but do I really want to stomp his head in as hard as I can to not to retain, to win the championship back? And right there, I was hesitating, but I still ended up doing it, but I didn't get all of it.
But you didn't do it to the degree that you could have. You could have not only won the match, but you could have ended Aaron Blaze's career. So do you mean to tell me, Dom, that you're savoring that moment, and not only are you going to win tomorrow and get that stipulation where you pick 2 out of 3 of the stages of hell, but you're going to wait until 4 weeks from today, where the biggest thunder shock in backyard wrestling history will be that Aaron Blaze is history.
Well, even though I'm the big bad guy in YBW, I still, in a sense, want to make Aaron Blaze's last match worth something. I don't want to be using cheap tactics or even stomping his head in or just ending his career by injury. I want to do it the correct way, pin him, 1, 2, 3, finish it the correct way. Yes, I've been doing cheap tactics.
Yes.
I've been using everything in the book to beat Aaron Blaze.
Yes.
I need to give Aaron Blaze a good match, a match that he's been trying to look for, because I've been cheating this whole year and a half almost. And I think it's about time that I'm the one, if I'm going to retire Aaron Blaze, to do it the proper way. And now, it kills me to say it too, but it's just the truth. I mean, there has to be some mutual agreement here with me and Aaron Blaze at the stand of the point to where, like, both of us been putting each other through hell, no matter if it's back in 2019 or even back in 2022, whenever the United Front was running around, or even today with reality. There's been bullshit after bullshit throughout the 7 years. And now, if anyone's going to put Aaron Blaze down, I'm going to do it the proper way.
But Dom, I got to ask you this question before I turn it over to the Golden Guns. What if Aaron Blaze beats you? And he made an interesting point. What's going to happen to you in your future in YBW next month when the thunder shock for your career will be you will never get another shot at that YBW World Heavyweight Championship?
Well, the key word, never. Aaron Blaze, I know Aaron Blaze's meaning as long as he's champion. And if I do lose, I mean, that means I can't challenge for the world championship, which still there's the hardcore championship or the breakouts championship. But that's besides the point there. Why would I want to...
title the mid card at one point. You talked about that as the mid card. You have been a defining member as the world champion in YBW. You're the longest reigning YBW champion in the company's history. And in this generation, in backyard and underground wrestling, I've heard guys talk about they're this, they're that, they're the greatest, but yet your run is right next to it, in some cases exceeded those individuals. You don't just want to go back and challenge for one of those titles that you almost dismissed.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, I know Aaron Blaze is going to put up a fight. I'm going to put up a fight. And then even tomorrow, Reality versus Golden Guns. If Aaron Blaze and Magnum Carter here win, Aaron Blaze gets to choose the last stipulation. If me and Phoenix win, I get to choose the last stipulation. But at the end of the day, if I can never challenge Aaron Blaze for the world championship as long as he's champion, if he beats me at Thundershock, I mean, I'm not. Oh, fuck.
Boy, Dom's so mad about what the head here. He's still mad.
But my screen went black, but
yeah.
You guys hear me?
Oh, we hear you loud and clear.
But anyway, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just a championship, and I can always challenge for breakouts or hardcore. But Phoenix is breakouts champion, so why would I challenge for that? And if it comes to that, I'll only have to challenge for hardcore. But that's besides the point. I still need to get through the tag match and make sure Reality wins. And then I got to make it to Thundershock to make sure I beat Aaron Blaze to become a 3-time world heavyweight champion.
I got all that.
And speaking of stipulations, I'm the one that gets to choose the first stipulation. And since Aaron Blaze hasn't beat me cleanly in a standard match, without weapons, nothing, the first stipulation, standard match, rules are enforced.
Whoa! It's that razor instinct of don't doubt Dominic. Can you, ladies and gentlemen, Dominic has picked the first stipulation. Standard rules match. It's a one-on-one stage. That's it. No weapons.
One-on-one
no
match. No bullshit either. Normal match. Actual wrestling.
Whoa.
And like I said before, this whole time, whenever it comes to Thundershock, Kid Phoenix is not going to be involved. And I hope no one else gets involved in the match. Because I know Aaron Blaze wants me one-on-one. I want Aaron Blaze one-on-one. And I'm going to give him that first stipulation there with standard rules. It's going to be fair, no cheap shit.
You know, I got to go back to the Golden Guns here before we get ready to sign up, because obviously we know Reality and Golden Guns square off less than 24 hours from now. Monday Night Carnage 158, YBW 2018 Backspace Videos. That's where you're going to watch this. You're going to want to be, you got nowhere else to go anyways. With travel bans, blizzards, apocalypses. So the only place you should be is at the YBW YouTube channel. But for you guys, Magnum and Aaron, and we know that Dom made an interesting point. You guys haven't tagged in a while. We know that history, but we also know what's at stake. And are you guys going to have each other's backs tomorrow night?
Well, first off, Dom, I'm actually glad you picked standard rules. Because you're right. I haven't beaten you in a regular one-on-one match in 3 years. 3 years. And ironically, the last time when I beat you, you want to know what was happening? I was champion, and you were chasing a championship that I beat you for. It's funny to see how nothing changes, but this isn't the mid-card, this is the main event. And now the only difference besides the location, our ages, the championship itself, and the design, those are the only things that are different. But it ends the same. Knee to the face. 1, 2, 3. And that's one stage done. And the only thing that's really different in regards to this tag match is the location and your partner. But the Golden Guns are going to smoke on that reality pack. And I am personally aiming for you. And I'm pulling that last trigger
I hope you do.
respectfully. Hell, I hope it's you I get the fall on over in the tag match. But either way.
I hope I'm the one that pins you. Because
Regardless.
you say the difference is my partner, which Kid Phoenix is way better than Oliver Blade. Oliver Blade was the one that held me down in the first match.
You act like that's a flex. Being better than Oliver Blade? Breathing is better than Oliver Blade.
It's not.
Dirt
it's
is
not
better than Oliver Blade. People I've worked with are better than Oliver Blade.
Was the one that held me down. He's the one that held me down. He's the one that didn't have my back. I know Kid Phoenix will have my back.
We want to thank Aaron Jones for the very kind words to Aaron Blaze. Thank you. Yeah, continue.
I'll have to read that back. It's small on my screen.
We want to thank Aaron Blaze. He will have a good future. Yes, we agree, and we're hoping his future will continue as an in-ring competitor, Mr. Jones, because he and Dominic are squaring off coming up at Thundershock next month. And if Aaron Blaze loses to Dominic, not only does he lose his YBW championship, but he will also lose his career as an in-ring competitor. So we are certainly hoping that that is not the case. But Dom, you got the momentum. This is where we can watch the show coming up here tomorrow night. And, for you, Magnum, is there anything that you want to say in particular, to Dom or anybody else, Kid Phoenix even, before tomorrow night?
Yeah, Dom. Remember how you were saying how you were going after the knee as it was one of the cheap tricks or something you took honor in doing? At least when I fought him, I didn't stoop that low the entire time. I hesitated, and I never did it. Well, the simple fact is, I came to my senses even before the match started. I knew I was in the wrong. I have a bad thing of not wanting to admit when I'm wrong. And the entire time, I was taking it like a man. Now, from man to boy, you and the other kid are about to be playing with firearms. So when it comes to the golden guns versus reality, reality is we come in locked and loaded. Hope you bring your Nerf guns, because that's the only thing that's going to resemble golden.
Well, you said you didn't stoop down to that level, but the one person that did was Aaron Blaze whenever he kicked you in the head. Because quite frankly, like you said, he didn't remember what happened. All he'd seen was you laying on the ground. But the reality is he kicked you in the head to make sure it wasn't you versus me. Just remember that. He's the one that kicked you in the head.
And last time I recall, and I do recall him kicking me in the head, that is still a good kick, by the way, Mr. Blaze. Last I recall, he only ever brings out that burning bullet whenever someone drives him to. 1, 2, 3 burnouts, and I still kick out. I get him right in the nerve, right where it hurt the most. You've never drove him to be better than himself. You never drove him to be worse than himself. All you've been is a light challenge to somebody, someone he has to train while fighting. When it comes to
Then why
me
did it
versus,
take him a year to beat me?
I don't know, does a low blow, oh, Phoenix cut out of nowhere, ring a bell to you? Or maybe a random chair shot, belt shot.
Well,
anything.
if he's the best,
You let the man
would
talk when
always
the
stick
man's
around.
talking.
I don't care what you have to say. I came in here with the utmost respect
Can
to
someone
Aaron
mute
Blaze,
the Barbie,
which
please?
you
Can the
always
men
talk
talk
shit.
here?
Well, I tell you what,
Yeah,
Blaze,
I can
men
talk
talk.
shit, and I can back it up.
Almost toward Monday night, and I think we're going to move on to closing thoughts, but I want to go to you, Champ, because in a rare last 20 or so minutes, you almost haven't had to say anything. You've been, mostly quiet here. And is there anything else that you may want to say in light of what we've seen tonight and what we'll probably see tomorrow night on Monday Night Carnage 158?
I've mostly just been taking a back seat, just listening and thinking. And, Dom, you kind of brought up a lot of good points. Hate to admit it. Because, like you said, the last time you and I came to blows, Carter was nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Here's what I'm thinking. I can only handle one thing at a time. So tomorrow night, there's going to be this tag match. I'm walking in with one goal, and that's to win. I'm walking in with one mind set, and that mindset is to stay world heavyweight champion. You pick standard rules, all right, I think I know how to follow that. And I think I know how to follow it when I win this tag match. Because I am coming straight for you. I'm coming straight for Phoenix. I don't forget. No matter who does what, no matter who says what, I don't forget. There's some things I don't remember, but I remember a lot. I remember who is there. I remember who isn't. But we'll see who's going to be there tomorrow. And tomorrow, Dom, it's mainly about you and me. And that is what I'm going to focus on. 4 things. Me, myself, I, and this. You've given me a lot to think about, but I'm going to give you a lot of head trauma in return.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we are less than 24 hours away from Monday Night Carnage, and it's not just a regular show. It's not just a recap show. There is a lot on the line. There are stages of hell to be picked. There is bragging rights, and there is that road to Thundershock that will continue. And will it go through, Dominic, or will those golden guns, well, pull the trigger? And then maybe they'll show that reality is that it's Dominic that's going to be looking at his days being numbered as a YBW championship contender as long as Aaron Blaze holds that YBW championship. And headline is that he intends to hold that until the end of this year. Or, well, if reality come into play and Dominic gets yet another victory, and we don't doubt Dominic, that it'll be Aaron Blaze. We could be looking at his end of days as an in-ring competitor. And while some may have wished him a happy birthday, but there ain't going to be no birthday celebrations here tonight, because after what Dominic did here and at what we just saw at Snowfall Brawl 6, the reality is that you've got to watch Monday Night Carnage 158, because there is a lot on the line. And some may say they want to face Aaron Blaze in their ring for the last match of their careers, and some may think he has a good future. Some want to wish him a happy birthday. Some want him to break in the intros. Some may want him to go to a place he hasn't been. Right now, the only place he's going to be focusing is alongside his tag team partner, the YBW Hardcore Champion, the MC of the 1-2-3 Magnum Carter, and we'll see what Dominic and Kid Phoenix can do, and they certainly will have their case. And is there anything else you guys want to say here before we sign off?
Dominic, I know you and Phoenix will be there. Carter, I hope you're there. Like, actually there this time. Because Dom's right about that.
You want me to put that to bed right here, right now?
Sure.
You know why I wasn't here? Unlike our opponents, I'm not a virgin, and I have proof of that. When it comes down to my daughter and family, I'll be there for them. They called me first.
Wow, I tell you what, I hope that you're going to be there tomorrow night to watch in this chat. I hope you're going to be there. Listen, we know the history between Aaron Blaze and Magnum Carter. Best friends, but there's definitely been a bumpy road, and we'll see who pulls the trigger. And I don't think these two guys are going to be trigger shy, but I hope there won't be any friendly fires tomorrow night. But reality's got some momentum. Dominic and Kid Phoenix certainly was successful here tonight, and we'll see if that momentum continues. But if you're out there, please follow YBW on Instagram. If you want to join the network, you can do that on the YBW Instagram page. Also, go to the TeePublic store. Also, please hit the sub button for me for YBW. It's free, costs you nothing, and that's where you can join me in the chat tomorrow night to be watching Monday Night Carnage 158. And we will give this, but after this episode, it has certainly been one we'll remember. And we're going to do this again in 28 days. And, Dominic, I guess then if you win in 28 days, you'll be the one here, and you'll be leading off, celebrating. Or if Aaron Blaze wins, I guess he'll be talking about this was all just a bump in the road, and what he intended to do just was delayed by a month, and maybe it was just a groundhog, and saying the 6 extra weeks of winter, and really it was Groundhog Day for Aaron Blaze and you. That's what he'll say in a month from now. And I'm sure Magnum Carter will have a few things to say as well. But thank you, fellas. Congratulations on the show. It was great, and it was a lot of fun to watch Snowfall Brawl 6, and I am excited about Thundershock, but most importantly, I'm excited about Monday Night Carnage 158. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice figuratively and literally where all music and all wrestling matters. We were joined by the MC of the 1-2-3 who dropped a few bars, the YBW Hardcore Champion, Magnum Carter. We were joined by the guy that was the longest reigning YBW champion in the company's history, Dominic, who was victorious tonight by reverse decision by the guy that was here. Who's on
I
top?
did the right thing.
Well, you
Morally,
did.
I did the right thing.
Well, you did do that.
Which it is right.
We'll see if the right thing happens and you and Magnum Carter are on top and you get to pick the other two stages tomorrow. That is Aaron Blaze, the 8-time Trailblazer, the YBW World Heavyweight Champion. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. You have voice figuratively and literally where all music and all wrestling matters. If you're in the Northeast like the rest of us here, please be safe. Stay indoors. Watch YBW on YouTube at YBW 2018. I'll be here at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time with the Darts, Nicole Loren, and I'll be there with Bad Marriages, Tommy Skiach, and Mikey Fitz afterwards. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all music and all wrestling matters.